Dreamers and lovers, gaze directly into the sun's fiery glare. Marvel at the infinite fractal futures unfolding before you. And make sure to let your mother know if you're not going to be home for dinner.
Because it's time to talk Tull to me.
I mean, she worked really hard on that meatloaf.
That meatloaf will not eat itself.
It will not. I like turkey and meatloaf.
Like just a loaf made out of turkey? Or in addition to the ground beef?
Instead. Welcome back, everyone. I am Omen Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
We are Feckless Momes.
And this is Talk Tull to Me.
A musical summer fling in which Nick and I will meet you at the same place on the boardwalk every morning, promise to write you letters every day, and definitely not give you chlamydia. Yes, every long walk an album, every stolen kiss a song. We will love our way through the entire canon of courtship that is the collected works of Jethro Tull.
That took a turn. I was not expecting that one.
So Nick, here we are.
Here we are. First bonus track off of Minstrel today.
It's a special day.
Yeah.
It's always a special day, Nick, when we get into the bonus tracks, wouldn't you say?
I would say that. It's also our first episode of the new year of 2021.
Nick.
That's exciting, right?
Happy 2021.
Happy, thank God, 2021. Hopefully things will get better.
Well, time and dates and things are completely arbitrary.
It's all
of
relative.
Course, and have no actual bearing on events.
True.
But it is, even with that said, it is nice to finally see the year 2020 in our rearview mirror as we speed away from it.
Just the black, greasy smoke coming out of that dumpster as we speed away.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire. Yeah.
So, Nick, before we get into the song, do we have any tidbits? Do we have any hors d'oeuvres? Any amuse-bouches?
I have absolutely nothing.
No tongue teasers?
No tongue. Well, we did get a new 5-star review for the other Feckless Momes podcast.
What?
So there's that.
Sir, sensors have detected another star in the sky.
Dear Lord, that's 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars.
There's another Feckless Momes podcast?
Yes, surprise.
Are you talking about Rigged?
No, it's Random Encounters. We haven't done
Oh.
Rigged in a long time. Boy,
So
Omen,
sorry.
you're an embarrassment.
Are you talking about Random Encounters?
I am, yeah.
That's great.
5 stars. I think it's our second 5-star review. Second
Hey.
of 2 reviews.
You've doubled your number of
That's
reviews.
right. Doubled in one night. Great job, gentlemen. A little chatty and gets off topic a bit, but solid information. I mean, that's any podcast, isn't it? That could be applied to Talk Tull to Me.
Oh, you bite your tongue.
Maybe
sir.
they accidentally put it in Random Encounters and meant for it to be in Talk Tull to Me. But you know what? It's 5 stars, so I don't care.
Yeah. Don't ask not where the stars come from. They come from the sky.
You got to work that one. You got to
That's it.
workshop that a little bit
That's
better.
the beta test of this.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what is the song that we are talking Tull about today?
Today, we will talk Tull about Summerday Sands.
Ooh, I actually really like this one.
I know, you said that last week. And to be honest, when you said it, I tried to think about this song, and all I could think about is March the Mad Scientist, which is
Very different.
next week. Very different, I know. But for some reason, this one does not stick in my head like March the Mad Scientist does.
Well, why don't we jog your memory?
Yes.
And have a listen.
Yeah, I think we should. And I think we will.
Nick,
My goodness, what a lovely song that is.
so you didn't remember that one?
I didn't remember the full context or musicality of it. I mean, I knew Summerday Sands,
Sure.
but it had never really struck me until, of course, when those strings came in. I was like, oh, that's this song. Okay.
Yeah, and then your eyes went black and you ceased to be for a few moments.
Yep. I melted into the atoms in between the booth and microphone and just quivered there for a moment.
It's gonna take forever to get you out of there.
Oh God! Last time we took days. A straw with a milkshake in there kept me alive.
Nick, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm curious about how many times this song has been played in concert.
Oh. Any guesses?
You know, it's a bonus track
Mm-hmm.
suggesting that it wasn't deemed, contentful enough to be put on the actual album.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, it was released on the B side of one of their singles.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Was that Cold Wind to Valhalla?
It's possible. It's possible. I can only look up one thing at a time, Omen.
Oh, Nick. I should have taken the offer from that spider to do podcasting with.
Nope, can't do it. 8 eyes, 8 arms. You could get so much done there.
I know. I am curious because this is such just a lovely piece.
Really is.
How often it's been rolled out in all of its 2-minute and 3-second glory.
Yeah, it was the B-side of Minstrel in the Gallery, the single for Minstrel, yeah.
Minstrel, okay.
But I am not seeing it at all in this list.
Really?
Not to say it hasn't been played, but in this compiled list, I'm not seeing it at all. I'm seeing Sunshine Day 3 times, and I'm not seeing Summerday Sands at all.
Wow, I hate that.
I hate everything about what you just said.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. When we were coming up on this song, I kept thinking, haven't we done this one before? And I realized I was thinking about Look Into the Sun.
Okay.
And I do think they have some similarity in terms of the sound. I listened to them back to back, and it was almost like, watching Romeo and Juliet and then watching Two Gentlemen of Verona, where you're like, oh,
yeah, I get it.
Similar themes there, but
Yeah.
this one is way better.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Big Two Gents fan over here?
No, big Look Into the Sun fan.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So why don't we break it down, shall we?
Break it down now. We shall.
Okay.
So we start with a lovely, fun little acoustic sting, I guess. Like, what's that little? I mean, I guess it's just part of the song, but there's something unique in there before he gets into the actual.
In the biz we call it an intro.
An intro, just a quick little noodle, a noodle, a quick noodle.
You're referring to scream,
Yeah, that.
Has a little bit of a Nick Drake feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, playing more with the individual strings as opposed to strumming. Yeah.
And then we go full strum.
Right in there, yeah.
And that's, I think, the strumming is what reminds me of Look Into the Sun.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll put a comparison in here for those two, but I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, see, now that we've heard the comparison, you can see how
Right I was.
a similar kind of rhythmic structure and even the chords are not from different planets. They're both from Earth.
They're neighbors, yeah.
They're neighbors.
Yeah. This is lovely acoustic as to be expected. It feels a little bit brighter than most of his acoustic.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know if it's a specific guitar that he's using, if it's a specific tuning or chording, but it's a lot sharper and brighter. And I think some of it may have to do with the fact that this is a rougher recording than the rest of Minstrel. This has clearly not been mastered or remastered or whatever.
Right. At the time of its recording, at least, it was certainly remastered subsequently by
Steve Peacock. No. Steve Wilson.
Steve Wilson, yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
Just as I suspected.
Just Steve Wilson, just as I suspected.
You know what also I think is brighter?
The content?
The mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
The vibe, as the kids say, Nick.
It certainly helps. They also say mood. The mood vibe. They don't say mood vibe, though.
They sure do that. They say that when they check their mood vibe rings.
Where does that mood vibe ring go, Omen?
In the mood hole.
Oh my.
Can I say mood hole on this podcast?
I've been waiting 2 years for you to say mood hole. Okay. It was the whole purpose of this.
There are some fun things. There's at least one fun sound in this that I don't think I've ever heard on any other Jethro Tull song, although maybe I'm wrong.
Is it the slidey guitar?
Yeah, and it's just that one instance of it.
It comes and goes here and there, but it certainly doesn't stay consistent throughout. It's only it only comes up in certain moments and then pulls back. It's either a steel guitar or a slide guitar, or maybe that's the same thing. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just the little glass slidey that he's pulling down the neck.
Yeah, there are lots of options for sliding on a guitar for making that sound.
Mhm.
I suspect that it's probably either Ian or Martin fooling around with an electric guitar that they already had rather than getting specifically a dobro or a steel guitar.
Yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
But it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. It's a different, like you said, it's a very different sound than what we're accustomed to, and I certainly don't remember it up to this point, and I would be very surprised if we hear it again going forward.
Yeah.
It's one of those, let's try this on this one song. Okay, we check that off our list. We're good.
Yeah, or it's appropriate for this song and we don't need it for anything else.
Yeah. That's valid. Absolutely valid. It's not necessarily let's try this out to then pull into the repertoire. Maybe it's just, wouldn't this sound good in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what we have also in this song?
Some beautiful strings.
The penultimate waning moments. The sunset of these strings.
Are you saying D is no longer with the band after this?
Is that not correct?
That's not correct.
No.
She's up there until A.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
The pinnacle, the noontime of these strings.
Perfect.
Is
Yeah,
what I meant to say.
The high noon, sun beating down.
Cowboys dueling it out in the streets.
Yeah. Someone will die.
The town's not big enough for both of these strings.
And then Sat as the Sea Caught Fire is our first instance of the strings.
We sat as the sea caught fire, awaited as the flames grew higher in her eyes.
And then all the way at the end, when he does when he sings "I Once Met a Girl" again, we get those. I love those. Those are so fun.
Yeah.
I once met a girl with the light in her hands, and we lied together.
So fun. And that's a different sound than what we've been hearing before. Before in it's the standard D strings of sweeping and kind of flowing.
Sweep.
Yeah.
But these are like punctuated, regular driving strings.
Yeah.
I mean, more what I think of, Nick, as rock and roll strings.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, much more in the forefront. Still an accompaniment, but much more noticeable and in the forefront.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We also have some lovely moments of walking the guitar from one chord to another when we have the big major to minor chord changes.
Define walking the guitar.
So if you're playing one set of chords, one way to transition to a new set is just to change the chord. That's fine. But the sort of varsity way of doing it, the way it makes you look like a cool guitar player, and it's very pleasing for the ear, is to walk the notes from the notes of the first chord to the notes of the second. And if you look at the changeover from the verse into that first kind of chorus, I guess if we can call it,
Yeah.
we watched Has the Sea Caught Fire right before that.
Mhm.
you'll hear the guitar go dun 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 dun, and it kind of takes your ear along on the journey from the first set of chords to the new set.
It's a more gentle transition, I suppose, as opposed to being abrupt and just this chord to this chord. It's come along with me for this journey while we get to this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more musically adept, and also it has the effect of really transitioning the listener. And it's almost, from a cinematic point of view, if we put on our synesthesia hats, Nick, if our delicious synesthesia hats, then we can sort of see the transition happening in a more dramatic way rather than just it's less of a jump cut and more of a dramatic pan.
Yeah, there's more complexity to it. It's not as basic. It's not as this. It's not a story of simple sentences. It's a full on novella.
It's poetic.
It's poetic. Yeah, I do. I have poetic and eloquent in my notes here. It's such an eloquent and poetic song.
Yeah, it is.
Musically and lyrically.
There's another really fun kind of change up of rhythm, or I guess rhythmic detail, that I really enjoy in this song, and that's in that chorus. We watched the eagle born, wings clipped, something shorn, and we saw it rise, and then the strings and the bass and the drums go dum dum.
Yeah.
We saw it rise.
Yeah.
It's so fun. They do that a couple of different times.
We watched the eagle born, wings clipped, tail, feathers shorn, but we saw it rise. We saw him rise.
Yeah, there are some very unique Tull sounds in here that I really, really dig.
I am so surprised that this song hasn't been played more in concert, or at least, registered more.
Yeah, from what we see, it's been all sorts of nothing.
I demand of Ian Anderson on the next tour to solely play this song for 3 concerts in a row to make up for all the times that it hasn't been played previously.
When the next time you stop at my house, Ian, you need to play this song.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Or no biscuits for you, sir.
He has a soft spot for biscuits.
He has a soft biscuit.
Soft biscuit spot.
I've got a soft biscuit spot after all this quarantining, Nick.
Yeah, that's that we all do. We all need to recover.
Do we want to move into the lyrics? Because I kind of feel like there's a lot to discuss here.
Yes. Yeah, let us do that. Overall, I want to cover overall, like I was saying, it's eloquent, it's poetic.
Yes.
But it is those things for a seemingly juvenile high school experience.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of getting at. I want to pull out the big file drawer of Tull categories.
Oh yes,
Tull song
okay.
categories.
We've got, I think, 4 or 5 at this point.
4 or 5 categories?
I think so.
Maybe with some subcategories.
Yeah. Yes.
So my logic is telling me one thing, but my heart is telling me another thing, Nick.
All right. What does your elbow tell you?
My elbow tells me how soft the inside of the booth is.
Okay. Valuable. I'm keeping that in. Okay. What does your logic tell you?
My logic says that because this is on this album, and because we know all the stuff emotionally that Ian was going through with his divorce from Jenny Franks, that this is a fond memory of Jenny Franks' song, sort of a pleasant morning song.
Sure. Yeah, this was written in 1975.
But my heart is telling me something else, Nick.
Okay.
My heart is telling me that this is a fond memories of Blackpool song.
I mean, it definitely feels like a Blackpool song, doesn't it?
Does it not?
That's where I would put it immediately, without any other context, without any other chronological information. This is a Blackpool song.
Then it's official. We are saying goodbye to Logic for the rest of the episode. Thank you so much.
How'd that get in here?
And now we're taking the 1045 to Blackpool.
Yeah, I'll see you in probably 16 hours, something like that, roughly. Yeah, there's a fondness here. There's a nostalgia here. There's the summer. There's the beach.
And innocence as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a naivete almost.
Yes.
Which is every time we've seen any song referencing Blackpool, that really fits into that subcategory of autobiographical?
Yeah.
Autobiographical, Blackpool?
Auto-Blackpoolian.
Auto-blackographical.
Poolographical. Auto-Blackpoolographical.
Auto-poolajackal. No.
Ooh.
Yeah, that went too far. I'm sorry.
You can almost taste his mom's jam sarnies in this song.
Yes. I've ordered them for Christmas. I can't wait.
Very expensive. So let's get into them. I once met a girl with the life in her hands, and we lay together on the Summerday Sands.
I once met a girl with a life in her hands, and we lay together on the Summerday Sands.
It almost feels like a little bit. Who was that depressing author from the 1800s, the American who died of consumption, Nick? The one that we all like. Edgar Allan Poe. It almost feels like the innocent stuff of Edgar Allan Poe. Annabelle Lee. You know, the opening bits of Annabelle Lee, no?
I don't like Poe, so I don't know much Poe. Yeah.
He's just a Poe boy. He has no family.
For being an English major, I am a staunch believer in just because it's old doesn't make it classic and doesn't mean we have to sit through it. You are the exact opposite, Mr. I'm going to read every Jules Verne and read Marcus Aurelius.
Yes, not all of Marcus, not all of Jules Verne is good.
Yes, correct. Fact.
But it is all old.
Mm-hmm.
So then we move on. I gave her my raincoat and told Lady Be Good. And we made truth together where no one else would.
I gave her my raincoat and told the lady be good, and we made truth together when no one else would.
Some interesting imagery here. Speaking of old stuff, there's a sense of gallantry.
Mm-hmm.
The giving of the raincoat. Also, the raincoat makes me think that it's Blackpool because it's England and it rains.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this line, and we made truth together. What do you reckon?
It is that first, 36 hours of when you meet someone and you stay up until 5 a.m, you watch the sunrise and you've been talking the whole time and you click and you connect and you're just blatantly and brutally honest with one another.
You feel like you've never shared these things with anyone else, and you feel like you're connecting on a deeper level than you thought possible.
Yeah, and it's so intimate that it is the intellectual, the emotional equivalent of making love together. It's making truth together.
I like that, Nick.
This song very much smacks of our halcyon days at the fair to me.
Yeah, me too.
When our hearts and our eyes and our minds would gravitate to anything that looked at us.
Yes. Our hearts were bigger than our mouths, if I can mangle a metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our hearts were bigger than our brains as well. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I smiled through her fingers and ran the dust through her hands, the hourglass of reason on the Summerday Sands.
I smiled through her fingers and ran the dust through her hands, the hourglass of reason on the Summerday Sands.
Contact, exploring one another, exploring your physicality. I'm gonna run my fingers over your fingers, run the sand through your hand. It falling through your fingers looks like an hourglass.
Well, also, the idea of an hourglass is that you turn it over and it eventually runs out.
It's finite, yeah.
Right, so that there is a finite amount of reason here, and it's quickly being expended.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like.
Yeah, eventually you do have to come back to reality, especially if this is what it seems to be, some sort of a summer fling.
Yeah. And then we have, as you pointed out, maybe they've been sitting up all night, and then we have that lovely walk down of the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We sat as the sea caught fire. Now, I reckon that is not an allusion to the polluted waters of Blackpool catching actual fire, but probably more likely the sunrise.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. I waited. And we know it's the sunrise because I waited as the flames grew higher.
But are those not also, Nick, the flames of desire and passion?
In her eyes, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So maybe the singer is also thinking, oh, maybe things are shifting. Maybe it's finally going to be my day.
Oh, you know what? I
What?
take it back. In 2 verses, we've got the 10 o'clock curfew. So this must be the sunset.
But is it not possible that it could be, like you said, a 24-hour period?
That's true.
The sun rises, and then we watch the eagle born, wings clipped, tail, feathers shorn.
And then came the 10 o'clock curfew. These 2 verses are my favorites in this. I love the feel because this smacks the most true.
Wait, yes, I love those as well. I want to go back to the eagle, though, for a second.
Okay, sorry.
Why did they watch an eagle?
They're laying on their backs looking up into the air.
Yes, but why an eagle, not a seagull?
Oh. That I don't know. I mean, is the eagle common around the Blackpool beach? Or is there imagery there that you're getting at? I mean, it's more majestic, it's more beautiful.
My metaphor tendrils are tingling, Nick.
Is that what that is?
Yes, that's what I've been told that is.
You need to see a different doctor.
Get a second opinion.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have gone to see a doctor of philosophy. So, the eagle represents something culturally, sort of cross-culturally. The eagle is the pinnacle of human desire, of human achievement, of mastery of an element.
Freedom
It is
also too.
freedom.
Yeah.
Eating trash in Alaska.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite thing about the eagle is it's so revered, but it's just a carrion bird. Like
That's the bald eagle. There
I've
are
seen
other
bald
eagles who I
eagles
think
eating
eat less
carcasses.
trash. But
yeah.
In any case, it is this sort of the symbol of power and ultimate expression of a natural element. And so the fact that we see this eagle whose wings are clipped and tail feathers are shorn, meaning that's what you do to a bird when you don't want it to be able to fly.
Right, so it's not tamed per se, but it is a kept bird.
And yet we saw him rise.
Yeah.
So I think there's something quite interesting there. I've often remarked that Ian sometimes expresses his view of himself as something that is broken almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's imagery of this before. I can't think of any of it at the time being, but I know we've talked about it, that, you know, that there's this sort of inability to do the thing that everyone else does, or to...
Yeah, it walks this fine line between woe is me, I'm a broken toy, and self-deprecation of like, oh, I can't do anything. Leave me alone.
And yet here we see that turned on its head.
Yeah.
To say, and yet it rises.
It has overcome adversity. It has, for all intents and purposes, it should have been completely grounded, and yet it has gone against what the actions of others working against it to actually get into the air, to rise, to ride the thermals on the beach.
You know what it reminds me of, Nick? A little bit, that line?
I don't.
Oh, it reminds me of the saddest song in the world, Ne me quitte pas, by Jacques Brel. And in one of the verses he sings, On a vu souvent réagir le feu de l'ancien volcan qu'en croyant trop vieux.
On a vu souvent rejaillir le feu de l'ancien volcan qu'on croyait trop vieux.
We have often seen resurge the fire in an ancient volcano, which we believed too old.
For those of you playing at home, this is the third time Owen has referenced this song. in 2 years.
I can hear you. It's a very good song. Everyone listen to
it's
it and have a
beautiful.
good cry.
It's beautiful and very, very lovely. I fully acknowledge that. I do.
But it's sort of that poetic thing of like, okay, this thing that shouldn't happen, it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now that we've talked about the eagle, we can go on to your favorite bits.
Came the 10 o'clock curfew, she said, I must start my car. I'm staying with someone I met last night in a bar.
Came the 10 o'clock curfew. She said I must start my car. I'm staying with someone I met last night in a bar.
Which tells us this was not 24 hours because she met them in the bar last night, unless it's a mix-up of like how much time has actually passed.
Right, Nick,
It's a
didn't we agree earlier to abandon logic?
You're right. I apologize. Get out of the booth. Get out.
The clock of the heart is woefully inaccurate.
I sprayed for logic, and I'll have to spray again.
Okay.
The following, I called from my wave top. At least tell me your name. She smiled from her wheel spin and said, it's all the same.
I called from my way top. At least tell me your name. She smiled from a wheel spin and said, it's all the same.
So, Nick, shall we remove the sharp knife from our chests and talk about this series? Now, why did you say it feels true?
You never remove, if you want to survive, you don't remove the knife. It keeps the blood in.
Oh, let me put that back in.
If you take it it out, that's when you kill someone.
Oh, look, take it out, you say? Oh, no!
Oh, I'm dizzy and tired. I'm going to lay down.
So why did you say that this rings true for you?
It is, and maybe I am projecting just a small amount. It is very much the protagonist, the narrator in here, the main character seems to have fallen a little harder than she has, and wants to take the next step. And at this point in the quote unquote relationship, the next step is, what's your name? It's that simple. And she's like, oh, it's a summer fling. It doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. As she drives away and he's left standing with no pants on in the breeze and on top of the dune, and all the tourists are looking at him.
Yeah, well, and she even, it implies, the image is set up that she spins her wheels, and I sort of like to imagine a backwards spray of sand hitting him in the face.
And he just stands there and just takes it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe not everyone saw the eagle, Nick.
Yeah. Or maybe she just saw a trash bird and he saw an eagle.
He was like, it's an eagle.
It's beautiful.
It's the eagle of my heart.
Just silently weeping.
I can relate to this very hard, Nick, as a teen.
Yeah. We lived our lives of whimsy and naivete.
Yeah.
And boy, did we pay for it.
Well, and I think there's also a thing of like, when you're 17, you are... When we were 17, we were pursuing and falling for young women who were 17 as well, 16, 17, 18 maybe. But most of those women were going after guys who were in their 20s.
Yeah.
There's the sort of natural development of the sexes there that is unequal in that respect. Mm-hmm. And so it totally rings as true as well that she's like, oh yeah, I met this guy in a bar. He's really great. I'm going to go stay with him. Yeah. And you're like,
I've never been to a bar.
I can't get into it. Also, I can't drive.
Wait, you're my ride home.
I want to look at the word curfew.
Okay.
And the implication of a curfew. So that, again, that puts us into this sort of young place. Mm-hmm. Also, would you like to know the etymology of the word curfew?
Oh, cur. I'm guessing cur is the same prefix of like curtail to hamper or to stop. Curfew? I don't know. What is it?
It comes from, speaking of French, two words, couvre-feu, to cover a fire.
Oh, so it's I'm guessing it's not curtail.
I don't know. We'd have to look up the etymology of curtail, but apparently it was initially, the concept was initially put into place by William the Conqueror,
Oh,
saying that all lights and fires should be covered at the ringing of an 8 o'clock bell to prevent the spread of destructive fire within communities and timber buildings.
Wow. Huh.
It's lights out.
Lights out, literally lights out. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I like that.
So it's not so much you have to be home because you need to be home. It's, well, all the lights are going to be out, so you better be home if you want to be able to get home.
Right, in a time when there weren't flashlights or headlights or anything else.
Now, was Ian Anderson thinking of the etymology of couvre-feu at the time of the writing of this song? Nick, I like to think so.
I certainly hope so.
I like to think that the sand was covering the feu of his heart.
Yeah, and that's probably why she left him.
She spun the wheels so hard.
Mhm.
I thought for a minute, jumped back on dry land, left one set of footprints on the Summerday Sands.
I thought for a minute, jump back on dry land, left one set of footprints on the Summerday Sands.
So he was in the water, called from the wave top. He was in the water.
He was riding the wave like Poseidon on a dolphin.
The wave of emotion, the physical wave of water. He was from a wave top. He was cresting. He was up there.
And
she was out of it. She was gone.
then splish, splash, splish, splash.
Yeah.
Splish, splash. Jumped back on dry land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, left one set of footprints. Nick, I like to think of this as a possible, unlikely, but perhaps alternate explanation of this song, or at least some perspective on it.
Go on.
There was only one set of footprints. Was she ever really there?
Oh, nice.
Or was she there but not there, you know? If he
Very
looks back
nice.
on the, like what you said, the quote-unquote relationship, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
there was only ever one person in this experience, and it was me.
Walking in this sand. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that kind of extra embedded meaning under there that you really got to kind of wheedle away at. That's nice. Yeah, I do like that.
And I think that there's a further kind of support of that in the final lines. I once met a girl with a life in her hands, and we lied together.
I once met a girl with a life in her hands, and we lied together.
And we lied together as opposed to we lay together up in that first version.
Meaning we lied to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe Ian, or Ian in this instance, fictional Ian is the only one who really ever lied to himself.
I don't know. I lied to myself a lot.
I mean,
in
of
the
the two
song.
people.
Oh,
I'm lying
okay.
to myself right now. Or am I?
Yeah, I think so. But then there's the question. If, let's say for a moment that there really was a girl,
Mhm.
that there really were two people here, what was she lying to herself about? Maybe, what if we flipped the coin?
Oh,
Was there an experience for her as well? Maybe if I'm just totally spitting at the wall, Nick. Nope, I'm throwing pasta at the wall, Nick. I'm spitting into the wind.
both unhygienic.
Yes.
All of them.
Let's say that she did meet someone at the bar that she's staying with, and then she spent a couple hours on the Blackpool beach with this nice young awkward Scotsman.
Mhm.
Maybe what was she fantasizing about? Was she thinking to herself, oh, if only I could actually get with a guy who is a gentleman, even though he's nerdy and 17?
Mm-hmm.
But alas, my life does not permit for that because he can't even drive.
I don't see her as, it's not saying that they lied to themselves. She could be lying to him too. They could both be lying to him.
Yeah, but it sounds like, but they lied together, so it makes it sound like a shared lie.
Yeah.
Like they both lied to themselves about the possibility of this being a real thing, and basked in the warm pleasantness of the sun and the sand in that moment.
As long as it could last.
They both needed something, and they both sipped from the cup of fantasy, and that was a needed thing for both of them. And it just, in the end, all we hear is how it ended for him.
Yeah.
And I feel like she went back to reality as well.
Oh, she definitely did. I don't know. I don't think she ever left it.
You don't think she ever left?
My interpretation is that I don't think she ever really left reality. She was there for the moment. She was present for the moment, but she never got swept away in the fantasy. That's how I interpret this.
Well, I'm not so sure. I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
If you have any information on the girl spoken about in the song, please go to blackpoolsummerdaysandmysterygirl.com/.uk and type in your response.
/.uk.
Yeah. I don't know how the internet works over there.
No. Who knows? They use pounds and UKs. What?
Well, Nick, is there anything else that we want to say about Summerday Sands?
No, I think I feel like it's been a while since we really did a nitty-gritty deep dive into a song like this. I like it. I missed it.
I missed it too, Nick.
And
happy 2021.
Oh, happy 2021. Can't wait to spend my days on the Summerday Sands with you.
Oh, yes. Don't worry, it can be cured by a quick round of antibiotics.
On Summerday Sands.
So, dear listeners, if you want to give yourselves over to the fantasy of love for a moment, you can do so by giving us 5 stars and a good review and imagining that we will stay with you forever.
Give us the tools to soar high, despite our wings being clipped and our tail feathers shorn.
Exactly. We will soar among the 5 stars that you put in the sky, like the eagles that we are. Until next week, I am... Oh, wait a minute. I had something.
I'll give you a minute to think about it. Omen, next week we have the wrap-up of Minstrel in the Gallery.
Minstrel, we barely knew ye. It seems so short.
It was a quick one, right?
Yeah.
We're combining the last 2 bonus tracks because one of them is instrumental, so we'll combine the 2. We've got Pan Dance, the instrumental, and March the Mad Scientist.
Yes. Both very exciting.
Very, very exciting.
And so that will be our final episode of Minstrel.
That's right. Until next week, I am blissfully unaware, Nick McGill.
I am soaring high above as Omen said.
We are innocent and naive and sweet and puppy dogs as feckless momes.
And this is the crushing reality that is Talk Tull to Me.
Oh, God.
Hey boys, what's going on?
Hey, Danny, hey.
Yeah. Oh, man, I had the greatest summer. You guys wouldn't even believe it, you bunch of losers. I met this girl. Oh, yo, she was so...
Oh.
Yeah, she was so hot. We totally went all the way.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and, she's like totally in love with me.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Look at that. Who's that girl?
Huh? Oh my God. Sandy. Oh, hi, Danny. It was so nice of you to be so sweet to me this summer. I loved your sweet letters in which you said, Talk Tull to Me is a proud member of the Feckless Momes audio network.
Oh, he did not. Oh, busted. Egg on your face.